Okay, on the video live stream now, on the WSJM video live stream for this Tuesday, 28th of October. Where did October go?
Yeah, October flew by.
Man.
I mean, it really did. And here we are.
Halloween on Friday already.
Yeah, I know. Amazing. Yeah.
I should say happy birthday to my wife. It is her birthday today.
Please do.
Happy birthday, Susie P.
Is she up listening?
Yeah, she's up. I don't know if she's listening.
Are you going to get her some backyard chickens for her birthday? Oh, okay. All right.
No, absolutely not.
I hear they're easy to take care of and very worth the investment.
No.
Fresh eggs?
No.
All right. In the studio right now, we've got President of Lake Michigan College, Trevor Kubatzke.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. It's good to see you. Also, Al Pasholka is here, Vice President for Enrollment, Marketing, and Government Affairs. And full disclosure, he does Lakeshore football, or at least did for the season.
Yeah, until last Friday. So
yeah.
No playoffs, 3-6, young team.
Yeah.
But they'll be back.
Thanks again. How did they look this year?
You know, it was a young team, and they struggled early on, but I thought they really improved. And when you start, 6, 7 sophomores, against teams that have twice the enrollment that you do and have some big dudes out there. And as my friend Paul Bergen used to say, sometimes it's not the X's and O's, it's the Jimmies and the Joes. And,
Holy Paul.
They got better during the season. And, hey, you spend a year in the weight room and they'll be fine next year.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks again.
But I'm always the optimist.
No, we thank you again for calling the play-by-play for Lakeshore football. We appreciate it, and it's great to hear it on the radio. So we appreciate that. President Kubatzke and Al Pasholka are here to talk about Lake Michigan College and the millage renewals that are happening. They're on the ballot for next week, a week from today. In a nutshell, who can explain what are the millage renewals that we're looking at?
So we have two millages that expire in 26.
Stay up on that microphone if you wouldn't mind, please. Thank you.
Two millages expire in 26. So we decided to put them both on the ballot at the same time. They are renewals. One was started in 87. So that our operation millage has been in existence since 1987.
Started in 1987?
And it has not increased a single decimal.
Okay.
So same rate since 87. The capital millage was done in 2016 for 10 years.
Okay.
And that millage we're actually cutting in half.
Okay.
So the operating we're renewing at the same rate. The capital we're renewing at a half of what it was.
What? Okay. And I know you want to. We want to dive into this and get all the details. But in essentially the operating millage, what percentage of your operating budget is that?
This one is 20%.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a large portion. If the operating millage would not pass, we'd have to cut programs and people.
Okay.
And services and things that we do in the community. Absolutely. Okay. So that's the operating renewal that's been in place, as Dr. Kubatzke said, for 5 decades. This has been in place. In fact, it hasn't gone up. It's probably gone down because of the Headley Amendment in Michigan that limits property taxes. So
okay.
One is a straight renewal and one is a reduction, cutting the capital millage in half. I got a question out in Coloma.
Yeah.
Probably about 2 weeks ago. One of the members of the audience said, well, why don't you just renew your capital millage? Why are you cutting it in half? And we said, listen, LMC is listening. I mean, we understand that property taxes are not popular. And our board has done a great job. We have a locally elected board of setting up reserves and having funds available and thinking out maybe 10 or 12 years about what are the needs of the college? How are we going to be able to manage this? And how can we do it from a conservative perspective of managing budgets and making sure that we have dollars available so we're not borrowing and going into debt?
Okay. All right. We're gonna pause there, and we're gonna come back with some weather, some news, and then we'll get right back into this. We're talking with Trevor Kubatzke and Al Pasholka, President and Vice President, respectively, of the Lake Michigan College, and we'll talk about the millage renewals here in just a moment on WSJM.
Account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WSJM News now. Team coverage from the WSJM newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
7:05, it's the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. Thank you so much for joining us on a Tuesday, October 28th. This is the WSJM Morning Show. We'll have news in just a moment, our weather forecast as well. And this hour, we're talking with Lake Michigan College. President of Lake Michigan College, Trevor Kubatzke, is here. And Vice President for Enrollment, Marketing, and Government Affairs, Al Pasholka, is here. And we're going to be talking through, if you're interested, all about the Lake Michigan College millage renewal questions that are on the ballot a week from today. So we'll get that information out. If you have any questions about it, please feel free to put it in the chat on Facebook, on YouTube. We've got the video live stream going as well. And you can watch that also on our WSJM Smart app. Weather forecast for today. We expect partly cloudy skies, breezy conditions, a high around 56 degrees, winds out of the east, gusting up to 30 miles per hour. Tonight's forecast, partly cloudy, a low of 40. The wind will stay with us overnight, gusting to 25 miles per hour. And then Wednesday's forecast, partly cloudy, has 20% chance of showers, a high around 55 degrees, and wind gusts again to 30 miles per hour. Nothing like what is hitting Jamaica at this point. The Cat 5 hurricane, Hurricane Melissa, lashing that body. And we will continue to track that with updates from ABC News this hour as well. Some of the news from the WSJM newsroom: more than 1.4 million Michiganders could lose access to food assistance next week as the federal government shutdown forces a pause in Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program benefits, SNAP benefits. The U.S. Department of Agriculture says SNAP benefits will not be issued on November 1st due to the shutdown. Local food pantries expect increased demand, including at the Southwest Michigan Community Action Agency. Director Kim Smith-Oldham says the need has already grown sharply this year.
The pause on the SNAP benefits is going to be very devastating to our community, especially for our seniors living on the fixed income and our working families who are already struggling with the high food costs.
She said donations and business support keep the pantry stocked and that support must grow as SNAP pauses.
I think we're going to get more referrals. Of course, all of our referrals, our individuals and families that we serve, come through referrals from 211. And I see that would be growing.
Smith-Oldham encouraged the public to donate food or money. Meat donations are especially needed. She also highlighted the annual Stuff a Truck food drive that's coming up in November 17th through the 22nd at Rogers Foodland. Statewide, the average SNAP benefit is about $335 per month per household. Voters across Southwest Michigan head to the polls next Tuesday for local elections. In Benton Harbor, 2 at-large commission seats are up for grabs. Running for those seats are Commissioner Dwayne Seats, former Commissioner Mary Alice Adams, and newcomers Deidre Field and Shaquille Turner. 2 ward seats are uncontested. St. Joseph voters will choose 3 commissioners from a field of 6. The top 2 finishers receive 4-year terms. The third-place finisher receives a 2-year term. South Haven voters will decide the mayor's race between Annie Brown and Mary Hosley, along with council races in Wards 1 and 2. 1 Ward 3 seat is uncontested. Voters in Hartford and Gobles will select local leadership as well. We have full details on those and other elections that are going to be decided next Tuesday on our website. That's WSJM.com. Couple of notes here. The city of South Haven says the Dykeman Bridge will end its seasonal operations this weekend on Saturday, November 1st. Bridge openings will be by request only and must be made 12 hours in advance under federal rules. Requests can be submitted to the city's Public Works Department. And the Niles Scream Park says they're trying something new this week for Halloween week. Park manager Aaron Smith said Thursday and Friday, visitors can explore attractions in an almost actorless format with minimal staff providing minimal scares.
It's a chance for those that might be too timid to enjoy the interior haunted houses. Is the only things that'll be open for Thursday and Friday at their leisure with less fright. So it'll be full animations and scenic value. They'll be dressed characters, but they're not scaring.
Smith said guests can revisit attractions as much as they want. On Saturday, the park will host an adults-only night.
Everything will be open as normal, but without the younger crowd crawling up your heels or instilling a migraine in your brain is what we've kind of been saying for this.
A special RIP ticket, not a VIP, but an RIP ticket, offers a more intense experience with a signed waiver required. This is the final weekend before teardown and planning for next year. Scream Park. Have either of you been to the Scream Park this year?
I've never been there.
Never been there?
Oh, yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
It is scary.
You're a host.
Yeah, no, it is.
You're one of the scariest things there.
Yeah. No, I mean,
no.
They've done a great job with that.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. I think it's 10, 12 years old, and it was.
I have not been there either.
Yeah, it will scare you.
Yeah. Okay.
Every year we take a bus of students down
Yeah.
there.
I love that.
It's a great event for that.
That's fantastic. I like that they're shifting it up this year, doing a little bit of stuff on Halloween itself. For those who don't go out and trick or treat. We're talking in the studio this morning with Trevor Kubatzke. He's the president of Lake Michigan College, also vice president at Lake Michigan College, Al Pasholka, about the LMC millage renewals. We've got to get to sports, but let's open this conversation right now. And President Kubatzke, if we could, let's start with you. You explained it for us on the video live stream. I'll ask you to do it again for the broader radio audience. Talk about the LMC millage renewals that people will see on the ballot next Tuesday.
So we have two renewals up for vote. One is an operational millage that has been in place since 1987, so 5 decades. The citizens have helped the college operate, and it has not increased at all. So in 5 decades, same millage, no increases. So this is a plain renewal for another 20 years. Then we have a capital millage, which was passed in 2016 to help update our buildings. We have over $270 million worth of buildings.
Wow.
And that takes a lot to operate and maintain.
Sure.
But we are cutting that one in half because we hear our citizens' needs, as well as they helped us out in 2016 with our major projects. And now we can live on less means.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a reduction, and it shows that LMC is listening. We understand property tax is not a popular thing, and if you're going to reform property taxes, how about cutting some rates?
Yeah.
And so this is our way of saying, hey, we're going to do more with less. We have a locally elected board that's done a great job planning ahead, saying what projects are going to be necessary in the next 10 or 12 years, and having some reserves and some funds in place, which is good financial practice, to say, what are we going to need in the future? What is the plan going forward? And can we do more with less taxes? And that's what we're saying in these two proposals that are on the ballot: renew one and reduce the other one.
Okay. And so the operating millage, that makes up a good portion of LMC's operating budget. Talk about that.
20% of our budget is that millage. And so if that would not pass, definitely would have to cut programs, people, services, what we help with the community.
Okay. How immediate would that cut have to take place?
It wouldn't be immediate because it does expire in 26.
Okay.
So this is a renewal for after that, but we would have to start planning because it's $9 million.
Yeah.
And we would have to start planning immediately for next year how we're going to get that out of the budget.
I think it's important, Ken, that folks understand how the college is funded.
Yeah.
We're funded 51. It's different. I mean, local schools are 90% funded by the state primarily. We're funded 51% by property tax, 27% by tuition, 15% by state appropriations, and about 7% in private and grant funds. And that 15% state appropriations, they say you can't raise your tuition more than 3.5% or 4% a year. So we're constrained on what we can do on tuition, because a lot of folks have said, well, why don't you just raise tuition? Whoever uses it ought to pay for it. Well, we jeopardize the 15% of state funding if we do that. So that's why we thought cutting one of the property tax rates in half and then renewing the other one, that's not an increase and a renewal, made the most sense going forward. Now, our budget is about $44 million. That is about the same size as a large K-12 district in Berrien County. Same, $44 million. So Dr. Kubatzke pointed out it's 20%. About $9 million of that $44 million would go away. So obviously there would be some significant reductions in what the college is doing at a time when the college is really ramping up what we're doing with business, what we're doing on workforce, what we're doing with apprenticeships. And it is different, non-traditional enrollment that people are maybe not accustomed to. I mean, we are training thousands of people out there on campus and inside businesses that don't count as traditional enrollment. So whether it is the police academy, whether it is truck driving, whether it is marine tech, whether it is the leadership accelerator program where we partner with the chamber and others to identify leaders in the community, those are all good things. Now, they don't count as credit or degrees, but boy, they're important to our community. They're important for us to build our talent base. And that's what we're in. We're in a war for talent. We're in a war for talent, not only with other communities in Southwest Michigan, we're in a war for talent across the globe. And we see today the things that are happening at Amazon and other places, why it is important to have some of these shorter term trainings that are available to folks. And community colleges are uniquely positioned to do this. This is what's really hurting the universities. They can't change that Titanic to say, hey, we want to do a 1-day training on professional soft skills.
Right.
We do that. And when we started it, we didn't know it would be a couple hundred people a year that we would be training inside businesses on how to be a better teammate, how to communicate better, conflict resolution. These are things that businesses told us because of the relationships we've had through chambers and other organizations. This is what we need from you, community college. And we answer those things and we train those folks. And it's everything from Corewell Health coming out to teach people how to eat healthier. That's something that happens at the community college that doesn't happen in other places. So that is why Lake Michigan College is kind of an important piece of the puzzle of the ecosystem of Berrien County and Southwest Michigan.
Okay. We are hearing from Dr. Kubatzke, the president of Lake Michigan College, and Al Pasholka, vice president for enrollment, marketing, and government affairs. We're talking about the Lake Michigan College millage renewals. We'll continue this conversation right now on the video live stream. Here on the radio, we'll get to sports and a couple of messages and come right back. All right, back on the video live stream. No, thank you for that explanation. That and especially you touched on, Al, the soft skills for business. And you think about COVID, you think about artificial intelligence, you think about smartphones. I tell you, in the workplace today, it is so apparent the need for that human interaction and to continue to reinforce it, and how much we've lost over the last few years.
Absolutely.
So thank you for offering that.
Yeah, we have businesses come every day and say, we provide great training in the topic welding, machining, but do they show up for work on time? Can they get along with their coworkers? Those are the things that are more important to keep a workforce. The other piece of workforce is we're an aging community. All of us get a little older every day. And
speak for yourself, Dr. Kubatzke. No,
and so
it's true.
We need to bring students here because we know that in community colleges, 75% of students who go there stay in the community and work. So Indiana students, Illinois students, we need them here to make sure our businesses and industries have the workforce.
Yeah. How does the operational millage contribute to LMC's overall funding? Where do we see that impact in the operations?
Well, we don't have specific funds, so all those monies come together and go to our budget. We are required to have a balanced budget every year. Plus, our board requires us by policy to have 120 days of cash in reserve, as well as retirement issues, all that. So we have to have cash on hand to keep operational. The other thing about our budget is we don't get a paycheck every month. Our revenue ebbs and flows. September is a great month because start of school, tuition comes in, federal dollars come in, property tax comes in, but then October, November, December, pretty lean. So we have to have cash on hand to make it through those months where we don't have a lot of revenue coming in.
Okay. And as far as the capital millage, so that one, is that expiring in 26? Is that right? Okay.
Both the same, yes.
So they're both expiring in 26. What is the capital millage, if renewed, what is that going toward?
Well, one project in particular that really affects our community is the Mendel Center. It has been a great place for people to come and gather, not only for shows, but for meetings, weddings. It's open to the public for everything. And right now, the heating and ventilation system requires about $13 million worth of repair.
Oh, my goodness.
And so if that goes out, no more Jenkins Theater. Well, in nice weather, I guess we could be there.
Yeah.
But winter or summer, probably not. So things like that. I mean, we have buildings that are getting older.
Okay. Hold for just a moment, and we'll come right back on the radio. This is the WSJM Morning Show at 7:19.
Joe.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
7:19, it's the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. My guests in studio this morning, we're talking with Dr. Trevor Kubatzke, the president of Lake Michigan College, and Al Pasholka, the vice president of Enrollment, Marketing, and Government Affairs. And we're talking about the LMC millage renewals. There are two millage renewals that are going to be on the ballot next Tuesday. One is an operational millage being renewed for 20 years, and one is a capital millage renewal that's going at half, 50% of what. Can you explain, Al, maybe if you could, the capital millage? What's the rationale behind reducing the tax rate by 50%?
Well, one of it is the realization by the board and people at the college that, lots of folks are struggling to pay property taxes.
Yeah.
But we still have a lot of needs out there for building infrastructure. Dr. Kubatzke mentioned the Mendel Center. Lake Michigan College operates about $270 million worth of buildings. Those buildings are aging, just like a sinking fund at your K-12 district. This would act in the same way.
Yeah.
So we are looking to reduce that by half because the board has done a really great job of planning ahead, saying, okay, college, what are the projects out there? Okay, we mentioned the Mendel Center. We've got things like parking lots. We know we need new equipment. We know we have to keep up these buildings, some of which are 50 or 60 years old, in order to maintain them, keep them safe. There's a lot of new safety requirements out there as well that the college has got to do. So here's a chance for us to do more with less, to show that we have planned ahead, that we are good stewards of public funds because we've got dollars that we can utilize and pay these projects down in cash and not take out more debt or not take out more bonds. That's why the college has been AA+ rated from Standard & Poor's. They've looked at us. They've analyzed all of our financials and said, look, you guys have done a great job. There's only two colleges that are AA+ in Michigan, us and Grand Rapids Community College. So our board has done a great job of maintaining that fiscal discipline, maintaining a conservative fiscal stance in order for us to do this. And we can pass along some savings now to taxpayers and say, look, we don't need the full 0.48. Let's go down to 0.24.
Yeah.
That gives our local residents some relief. That's a good way to do tax reform. I know there's another proposal out there to just eliminate all property taxes. And while that sounds good, you got to look behind the curtain and figure out that's all your local funding goes away, whether that's police, fire, ambulance. It jeopardizes all of that and
School
sends
bonds.
those decisions to Lansing, which didn't get a budget done in time this year, which was 3 months and 3 days late. And do we want to go to a system where we have central planning and hope Lansing gives us enough to survive on, whether it's senior programs or parks and rec or all the things that makes up communities? There's other ways to do property tax reform. I know I'm going off here a little bit.
That's all right.
But there are other ways that to do property tax reform. Can you expand the property tax credit, the homestead credit that's out there available now? Can we reduce the pop-up on when you sell it? There's different ways that you can do it and replace the revenue without saying, let's be the first state to just throw out property taxes, eliminate all local funding, and then maybe Lansing will fund us, maybe they won't. It depends.
Yeah.
You've got a local road millage or a senior millage or a library or a community college or a school fund, because this proposal that's out there does not include any of the bonds that are on school districts now. So basically they would be insolvent. All that debt would revert to the state, and then you're putting the state in a tough financial position.
It also takes away our local control. I mean, we aren't the same as Lansing or Detroit or the UP. So having a local board elected by the local and controlling the college is important to us. We are not a one size fits all.
Yeah. We're talking with Dr. Trevor Kubatzke and Al Pasholka from Lake Michigan College about the millage. Can we talk just a couple of minutes? So I think about my community college experience, and I remember, there was business communications, there was humanities, there were a few other classes like that. I had a course for getting a business-focused AA. Didn't really know what to do with it after I got out. But would people who went to school back in my time recognize what LMC is offering now? And I'm thinking about the police courses. I'm thinking about the welding. I'm thinking about viticulture. Tell us a little bit more about what LMC has shifted to, has evolved to providing.
Well, we shift the way our community shifts. There's a reason it's called community college, because we are the community's college, and we are flexible and agile to make sure we're meeting the needs of our business industry and our students. We have students who want to come get to humanities, transfer to a 4-year school at a much cheaper price, but quality education. Over half of our faculty have PhDs. And you're not in a lecture hall with 400. Al talks about Western, sitting there with 400 of his closest friends.
Maybe that's why I ended up at the community college. I don't know. Guess so.
But we have that. But then we also want to get the workforce out there. One thing some people don't understand is students pick and choose what they need. Some students just want some gen eds to transfer. Some students want to get into the workforce, so they take some courses and then get in the workforce. Some students want that degree to move on, but that's what's special about us. We are everything to everybody and allow students to do that. The reason we have viticulture is, if you haven't driven around Berrien County lately, there's a few wineries in.
Oh yeah, very popular.
Some of our staff, try them out all the time. But there was
not
a need
during
there.
school hours.
Not during school. There was a need there, so we stood that up.
Yeah,
our local law enforcement came and said, "Hey, we're having to send students to Detroit to get trained. Can you stand that up?" And in 10 months, we went through all of the MCOLS accreditation and had our first class. And now there's 27 officers on the road that wouldn't have been there if we weren't here.
And that doesn't count as regular enrollment, right? That doesn't count on any state data that says, hey, we've got 27 police officers out there now, because it isn't a degree program. It's 16 weeks of intense training. Those guys are out there 40 hours a week. And I mean, it's great to see them in the summer. They're out there marching around campus. They're out there they've got to do the driving training.
You still haven't invited me to the driving thing, by the way.
I mean, well, they do some simulations. They utilize, one of our local developers allows us to use Calvin Britton School that's closed, that they can use for training, for simulation. So
maybe you could come out and be one of the people they pull over in practice.
Sure, why not? Catch me if you can. No, I love that course.
The bigger issue is this. Listen, 30% of Berrien County graduates will get a 4-year degree. That means 70% do not. And that's why the college is involved in apprenticeships. That's why we're involved in youth apprenticeships. That's why we did what we did with the building in Niles, to better align our services rather than try to build a new building or pass another millage or that's failed 3 times. Let's align our resources better. Let's be smarter with the facilities that we have. That's just good fiscal and financial practice, but it's just smart business. But we've got 70% of our kids. Everybody needs training beyond high school, but not everybody needs a 4-year degree.
Right.
And that's where community colleges like LMC are uniquely positioned to make a difference.
Yeah. We're talking with Dr. Trevor Kubatzke and Al Pasholka, Lake Michigan College. We've got to get a couple of messages in here, and then we have our Bloomberg Market Minute coming up. Also, the latest world and national news from ABC. We will have those messages here on the radio now, and we'll continue our conversation on the video live stream. You can see it on YouTube, on Facebook, and on the WSJM Smart app.
Our hometowns are...
All right. Let's see here. I'm looking at a couple of comments on the video live stream here. Sean Hill says, I have to pay tuition for my daughter at a different college. Shouldn't have to pay twice. What is that? How do you take that? I guess he's equating the millage to a tuition.
Well,
if I read that right,
if he's going to she's going to a different school. She's going to SMC. She does have to pay extra.
Some people think that millage is a use tax, and it's not. It's an operational, and everybody benefits from the college. You go into Corwell, you're probably going to get served by a nurse that was trained by us, or the phlebotomist taking your blood was trained by us. So unlike a lot of places that charge you to use something, we're providing the community what they need to be a vibrant community. Someone welding in a manufacturer probably was trained by us. And so it's not just what's on ground. It's the services you receive every day.
And it goes back to how the college is funded. I think Sean's question is good. But it's 51% property tax. It's 27% tuition, 15 state appropriations, and 7% from private and grant sources. So that's what makes up the ability to have a college, to have the community college. Now, there's been some discussion about, why do we have, two tuition rates, a domestic and a domestic rate and just an international rate? Well, one, we want to attract people here to try to do that. But Indiana residents do not get free tuition. They do not get free books. You have to live in the LMC district in order to qualify for that. So we do have some financial aid programs that I think create a little bit of confusion sometimes in people's minds. It's like, well, why do you have free tuition? Well, every community college in Michigan has free tuition. Why wouldn't we want to offer that to our students too? We do through something called the LMC Guarantee. And we also have a very generous foundation that says if you are a high school student who is graduating and you take a full load at LMC, that's 12 credits, the LMC Foundation also picks up the cost of your books, because one of the things that we find, and it's overcoming barriers, and community colleges are good at this, right? So it's why we operate a food pantry. It's why we operate some mental health and wellness programs on campus to help students, because a lot of them are first generation students that haven't been to college before. So these are ways that we try to serve. And there is some confusion around free tuition. I mean, who gets free tuition and who doesn't get free tuition? But if you're a high school kid who's coming right out of high school and you're not going full time, you don't qualify for free tuition. So I hope that clears up some of that.
Go ahead.
The other thing we have is a couple of years ago, we decided to have a one price offer. If any parent has paid a college bill at any other school, there's tuition and there's fees, and they don't understand it. So we have a one price. There's no fees on our tuition. When we say it's this price, it's that price. So that's another way we've tried to help our community out by saying we're not going to tack on all this stuff to help pay for that. We're going to give you one price. You can come here and get that.
If LMC were not in the community providing the services and the classes and the training that it does, where would people go who need that?
Ooh, that's a good question. There's other community colleges, but they're not part of the district, so they're going to pay more money. All of the community colleges around us have out of district tuition, so they would pay extra. And even the state programs don't pay that extra fee. So like Reconnect, you're 25 and don't have a degree, you can go to a community college tuition free, but it's only in district, so you would be paying the extra then. So that's one way that the college being here helps our residents.
Okay. All right. We're talking with Dr. Trevor Kubatzke and Al Pasholka, both from Lake Michigan College. Trevor is the president. Al is the vice president for enrollment, marketing, and government affairs, which is why Al's talking about enrollment a lot. Why are you talking about enrollment so much, Al?
I'm talking about enrollment because, number one, it's important. Number two is that we have lots of people that train every day. The marketplace has changed, Ken. And you talked about
Hang on just one second. It's the WSJM Morning Show. Sorry, we were having so much fun on the video live stream.
You forgot your other job.
I forgot my other
two
job.
Guys that do have faces for radio.
I'm Ken Lundberg. Here with me is Dr. Trevor Kubatzke, president of Lake Michigan College, and also Al Pasholka, a familiar voice on the radio for football, Lakeshore football. Sorry about the season. Vice president of enrollment, marketing. No, they did great. They did great. Well, I mean, they're not in the playoffs, but they did great. It was a character building year.
Young team that improved. They did.
That's the talking point. Young team that improved.
They didn't score the first 3 weeks. So,
yeah.
And then towards the end of the season, they scored 112 points in 2 games. So that's great. But you were talking about enrollment, and you've mentioned this morning about Amazon.
Yes.
And just the changing marketplace, right?
Yes.
The training marketplace has changed. We have found, and this is the reaction to it. Not everybody needs a 4-year degree. Not everybody needs a 2-year degree. Not everybody needs a certificate. But what we're hearing from business and industry is, we need some training. Whether that's a 3-week CDL course in truck driving, which we offer, whether that's a 7-week training for marine technician, whether that's a police academy, which is a 16-week intense program that people are already hired as police officers that come to us. Those are paid for by local units of government. That doesn't count on our enrollment numbers, but boy, it counts in the community because it's important with 132 law enforcement officers that could retire in the next 4 years. How do we replace those folks? And that's local units of government coming to the college and law enforcement and the sheriff saying, look, help us out here.
Yeah.
I mean, how do we get there? The marketplace for training has changed. And the great part, and one of the reasons why I was excited to join the college 3 years ago, was Dr. Kubatzke's vision of saying, anytime, any place, anywhere, go find out what the needs of the community are so that Lake Michigan College can meet them. So whether it's the soft skills training, whether it's leadership accelerator, whether it's management accelerator, we've added things for project management. We're adding things for sales. We've got a fab lab that's open that people come and use. Thousands of people are coming out and being trained by Lake Michigan College, either on campus or us going out to their place of business to help them. And that's the great thing about being a community college. It's not a university where we go, okay, we got, a tenured professor has to look at which department and could we actually go out and try to do this? And
Right.
I'm not being mean to four-year universities. I'm just saying the community college system is set up differently.
Right.
It's set up to serve the community. That's why our funding mix is different. Yes, there's local property taxes. Yes, there's tuition. Yes, there's state appropriations. It's all kind of in that mix that make up our budget.
Okay. All right. We're going to continue this conversation in just a moment. We've got to take a quick check of the weather. It's partly cloudy as the forecast for today. Breezy conditions, winds out of the east gusting to 30 miles per hour. Looking at a high today in St. Joseph, Benton Harbor, probably around 58, 59 degrees. Tonight's forecast, partly cloudy, a low of 40. And Wednesday's forecast tomorrow, another partly cloudy one, 20% chance of showers and a high of 55. Continuing our conversation, talking about Lake Michigan College, and they have two millage renewals on the ballot that's coming up next week. We'll continue that here on the video in just a moment on WSJM.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Hurricane Melissa is set to pummel Jamaica as a monster storm, the strongest to lash the island ever. ABC's Lionel Moise says it's expected to make landfall later today.
Melissa approaching as a Category 5 hurricane overnight with winds up to 175 miles per hour. 3 deaths already reported before the worst of the storm hits. Video from Air Force hurricane hunters shows inside the eye of Melissa, the eye wall nearly vertical. The flight forced to turn back after hitting severe turbulence. A Miami-based hurricane researcher calling it the most turbulent he's ever seen.
Amazon has announced today it is laying off 14,000 employees. The company says it is profitable, but it's looking toward the future. Online learning platform Chegg will be laying off 388 roles, 45% of its global workforce, in a restructuring that the company says is due to artificial intelligence. This is ABC News.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
It's the WSJM Morning Show. 41 degrees in Benton Harbor right now, 43 in St. Joseph, and 41 in South Haven. I'm Ken Lundberg. It's the WSJM Morning Show. We've got news coming up from our newsroom at 8 o'clock. A $57 million mixed-use development planned for downtown St. Joseph has cleared a key hurdle. It did so last night. St. Joseph City Commissioners on Monday approving a special use permit allowing the Marquette on Lake Boulevard to exceed height limits by 25 feet. They adopted a brownfield plan for the project as well. The 7-story building will reach 80 feet and include 68 apartments, 32 condos, commercial space at the street level, a rooftop deck, and 2 levels of underground parking with 180 spaces. We'll tell you a little bit more about that. That's coming up at 8 o'clock. Also, St. Joseph City Commissioners have taken the first step toward creating a new Downtown Development Authority tax increment financing district. We'll tell you what that means and how much they expect to collect. And good news for Cook Nuclear Power Plant. They got Unit 2 back operating. This is after their regularly scheduled 35-day refueling outage. They said everything went very well. That's good news. It's 7:39. It's the WSJM Morning Show. More about Lake Michigan College. We'll have Trevor Kubatzke and Al Pasholka on the video live stream right now.
The Michigan News.
Okay, I neglected to do this earlier. We've had Al in a lot, but we haven't had Dr. Kubatzke in. Dr. Trevor Kubatzke, for those who don't know you, maybe just a brief introduction. And I mean, this is like your swan song because you're getting out of LMC next year. So
I've had 40 years in higher education, so I think I've told my parents that I started college in '84 and I've never left. So it might be time for me to graduate.
Are they still paying tuition?
Maybe they are.
No, that's great. 40 years.
So we've been here. I've been here just about 9.5 years. So I'll be here 10 years when I retire.
Okay.
We came here from Milwaukee. And my wife is a teacher at Coloma Middle School, 6th, 7th grade. Bless her heart.
Yeah.
And she's been in the classroom for about 38 years. So she'll be retiring after me. She gave me 1 year ahead of her, but we love Southwest Michigan. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
We've lived in many areas in the Midwest, and this is our favorite so far.
Yeah.
What Dr. Kubatzke doesn't tell you is that he really is an old CTE guy. I mean, he's a career technical education person, and when he came to LMC, that was something that really needed to be focused on, and he's done that. So whether it's keeping apprentices out there, we've got over 100 apprentices working today. So if you go by the Hanson Tech Center early in the morning, you'll see the lights are on and they're in there working on the robots and the CNC machines. And then if you drive by at night, you'll see them again because the different ones will come in and they're learning and earning and at the same time. And that's why we, continue to work on apprentices, and we think apprenticeships are important as we fill that gap of the 70% of our students who are not going to go get a 4-year degree. But everybody needs training beyond high school. And if we can get them a local job, and here's the thing that I learned that was kind of neat was you can apprentice just about any job. You could apprentice the Ken Lundberg show. You
could.
If you wanted to, right? Or some of the work that maybe the engineers do here.
Yeah.
Those can be apprenticed. And those are people that you can bring on as high school students, move them along, and maybe they don't train at the college, but they're here and they're working and they're training. And so Dr. Kubatzke's vision of, making sure that anybody coming out of school has the ability to work here and be here is important. So I know he downplays it a little bit, and sometimes maybe he's not out in public as much as some other community college presidents, but he's been somebody behind the scenes who's really been pushing and saying, hey, find out what the needs of the community are so that we can meet them.
Yeah.
And,
Al, can you talk a little bit? You talk a lot about the apprentice, and I think I get it. But what does that journey look like, and how does that get somebody into a career?
Yeah, that's working with our K-12 districts, right, and working with the CTE programs that are out there, and we've got some great ones that are in place. It's identifying those students and then connecting them to that business. So if you look at a business like CNS down in Buchanan, they build parts for jets. I mean, people don't realize this, but they're building parts for jets.
That's cool.
Really cool stuff. And they are huge into apprentices. They'll have 12, 15 apprentices per year working at CNS. And they identify those kids in 11th and 12th grade and make sure that they've got the right sorts of training, that they can work maybe part-time at CNS. And then when they graduate from high school, they've actually got a job. They've got a job there, and they're working with somebody who's inside the plant, who mentors them, that works alongside of them. And that's how they fill the talent pipeline. And that's what is so important. And one of the things that we have to do in Southwest Michigan, we know some of our young people are going to leave. They're going to go get the big city experience. But what about those 70% that are here? How can we train them for our local companies and really build that talent network? That's why we're working with the Chambers of Commerce in Niles and the Southwest Michigan Chamber and the Berry and Risa to put that youth apprenticeship program in place. We've got a guy who's got 30 years experience. His name is Jay Bauer. Shout out to Jay. He's out there doing a great job working with companies, identifying what those jobs look like, and then going back to the schools and saying, okay, who do you have? Who can we place? Who can we put in there so that we can build our talent and we can quit losing population here? That's the $154,000 question that is here. In the 70s, Berrien County was 180,000 people, and we had a lot of heavy manufacturing. That's gone, but we've got great advanced manufacturing that is still here that are great jobs. This isn't your grandpa's manufacturing. This is high tech. This is robotics. You got to learn how to use computers and equipment. You can eat off the floor in some of these places, and these are good middle-class jobs that we need to retain and keep in our community so that we can grow this place. I'm here, you're here, he's here. I'm here because my grandkids, I want them here.
Yeah.
I want them close to me. And when I was out knocking doors in the legislature, one of the things that they'd tell you at the doors was, I want my kids and grandkids close to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how you do it.
No, it's good. Well stated. Thank you very much. Al Pasholka, Vice President for Enrollment, Marketing, and Government Affairs, and Dr. Trevor Kubatzke, President of Lake Michigan College. We're going to come back, do our Moody on the Market update. We'll recap what the millage renewal questions are in just a moment right here on WSJM.
Wednesday, mix of the sun and clouds, slight chance of a shower, although very low chances, and high temperatures still in the mid 50s. We'll be in the low 50s with some chances of rain at the end of the week. I'm meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
Hang on. We got more to say on the air here. Good morning and welcome again to the WSJM Morning Show. Getting some love and some heat on the video live stream, the questions that are coming in there. But want to thank everyone who's weighed in with the question. Berrien County Sheriff Chuck Hite saying if LMC did not provide the police academy, police agencies would have to send those same officers to other community colleges somewhere else around the state. And little known secret, they'd probably get recruited to go somewhere else as well.
Exactly.
So it's nice. It's nice that we're keeping them here in the community. We're talking.
Can we understand people don't like property taxes? We do.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know this is an issue for lots of folks, and that's why we're saying, look, we're seeking a renewal that's been there for 5 decades, and we're willing to cut the other in half. So you will save money when you cut the rate. So cutting the rate from 0.48 to 0.4 to 0.24 is a cut. And I know some of my friends, and these are people that I've known for a long time, 20, 30 years, are saying, well, you just sound like a politician. Well, no, the ballot language is very clear. It says renew and reduce. And that is what this does. It reduces the rate. And if you reduce the rate, that is a reduction.
Okay, we're talking with Al Pasholka, who you just heard from, and Dr. Trevor Kubatzke from Lake Michigan College. Let's make this part of our Moody on the Market update. It's brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles, doing on radio what we call a resetting, reminding people what the topic at hand is here. And we're talking about two millage questions that are on next Tuesday's ballot. Again, recap those two. One's an operational millage, well, the other one is a capital millage. What are they and why are they important?
Well, the operational millage has been in place for 5 decades, since 1987, and it provides our annual budget to operate the college and keep the lights on and the heat going and new equipment for students and everything that we need. We have over $270 million worth of building and equipment. That takes money to keep up and operate. Yeah. The capital millage has been around for 10 years, and we are cutting that one in half because we understand that people need a little break. And so we're going to do more with less. And the board has done a great job, along with the college administration, in saving money. So putting money in the savings account so that we make sure we have enough in the future to do the projects we need to do.
Okay.
Which used to be a really conservative fiscal practice, was to, make sure that you had enough for the future, so that you didn't go into debt and you didn't have to pass a bond or something else later.
Yeah.
So that's kudos to our board for thinking ahead, planning ahead, and putting money aside that will allow us to reduce one of those millages.
You talked about the operational millage and it having been in place for 50 years, and you're asking for a 20-year term renewal. Thinking 20 years into the future, Dr. Kubatzke, what does Lake Michigan College look like? What's it offering?
20 years ago, I probably could have told you.
Yeah.
But we don't know what next year is going to bring.
Right.
With AI and everything else that's on us, the field of education is going to change rapidly. And we are uniquely poised to do that because we don't have these long tenures, and we listen to our community and do what they need. The sheriff said it perfectly. Not only do they have to send those cadets to another school, they probably have to pay for housing or transportation, where they're right here at home. And in fact, we have Beckwith Hall, which is our residence hall, and the cadets actually, a lot of the cadets stayed there. So they didn't even have to leave campus. So that is what we do. And we're going to be ready. Al mentioned we're in the community. We're talking to businesses. Anytime they have a need, we can stand something up.
Yeah. Okay. We're talking with Dr. Trevor Kubatzke and Al Pasholka, Lake Michigan College. That's our Moody on the Market update for this morning. It's for this hour. It's brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS. They are your local auto owners insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles at 750. Got a couple more messages to get to on the radio here. We'll be back on the video live stream in just a moment on WSJM.
Rich Brandon, Terry.
All right. I always ask this question. So, Dr. Kubatzke, you please, if you will, allow me. What do you do when you're not colleging? when you're not running LMC, what do you do for fun outside?
Well, so my wife and I live in.
Come on up to the microphone if you wouldn't
My
mind.
wife and I live in Berrien Center.
Okay.
We have a little property, but we have a 65-pound husky and a 10-pound Jack Russell Terrier, so they keep us very busy.
Are their names Salt and Pepper? What do you?
No, it's Vinny and Frankie.
Vinny and Frankie.
Vinny came to us just this year, and he's not a year old yet, but he has a heart-shaped patch on his back, so they had called him Valentino.
Aw.
I didn't like the name, so I figured he's a rough guy, so I gave him a good mafia name, Vincenzo Valentino, and we call him Vinny.
Nice. Very nice.
I love the fly fish.
Oh.
Either locally or we go to Missouri a lot.
Yeah.
We like to travel around the community. We do like going to wineries.
Yeah.
But just enjoying where we live.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Fly fishing. We need to talk. I love
absolutely.
Hey,
Actually, I took my 6-year-old grandson. He wanted to learn how to fish, so
Yeah.
we fished off the pond
Okay.
at Lake Michigan College. Now, I'm not saying you would eat those fish.
Are there fish in there?
Because
Oh, absolutely.
there's,
Okay.
I caught a pretty good sized bass.
Oh, you're kidding.
And my grandson Gino caught a couple of bass out of there, and we were out there for a couple of hours.
You just
And,
shore fishing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we weren't the only ones.
No.
There were some other folks that were out there. And
Oh.
now some folks were taking the fish.
Oh.
I don't know if I would.
Yeah, no.
It's
Catch
the
and
same
release.
water that goes in the river.
Well, I know, but it is like part of the county drain system. Sorry, George McManus, but yeah, you just wanted to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
Right? He's 6 years old.
That's the
And
best
it
part.
was just, I had my 85-year-old father-in-law out teaching my 6-year-old grandson how to fish and doing it at the college.
We also have a trail system that people don't know. We have a trail system on our property that's open to the public.
Okay.
We are the community's college, and we are open to the public that need us.
Yeah.
So,
I think about the entire question, and we've got both sides represented, and we talk about it quite a bit. But I think about if you think about a community. I mean, it's right there in the name. It's a community college. If you think about community, what is it that builds up a community? What is it that can make it better? What can make it more attractive to people outside? And you think, okay, a good, healthy, vibrant community college. And so, those are some of the things that I think about when people think about this question and ask me, what do you think about that? Lake Michigan Community College.
Yeah. Where will our nurses come from if we're not here?
Yeah.
They're not.
Can we talk about healthcare? What are you doing in that area?
Oh, we have a lot in that area. We just did a renovation of state-of-the-art stuff. We're putting out 50, 60 nurses a year. Most of those stay local. Corwell is snapping them up as soon as they can. We have rad tech, we have sonography, we have med assisting, CNA. So in the nursing homes, in the care facilities, those are people that come through the college that wouldn't be here. Because again, as Al said, if they go away to college, there's a good chance they're not coming back.
Yeah.
They're going to stay in that community. They're going to get a job there. So it's vital that we are local here and have these programs to make sure that we have the services that we all need.
Yeah, I want to know more about this marine tech, but we'll talk about that because I like to tinker with stuff. So we'll talk about we'll wrap this conversation up. I want to hear more about the healthcare in just a moment from Dr. Trevor Kubatzke and Al Pasholka here on the WSJM Morning Show.
Discount repairs throughout your membership. It's the perfect way to maintain your system's performance and extend its lifespan. McGee's proudly serves homes along the shoreline from New Buffalo to St. Joseph, ensuring prompt and professional service when you need it most. Don't wait for a breakdown to address your furnace needs. Contact McGee's Heating and Air Conditioning today to schedule your tune-up and learn about the Care Club. Visit McGee'sHeating.com and feel at ease with McGee's.
McGee's Heating and Air. Feel at ease with McGee's.
Feel at ease with McGee's, your local Bryant Factory authorized dealer.
From the Pat Moody Studios, this is WSJM FM Benton Harbor, St. Joseph, a product of Midwest Family Marketing and Media. Proudly serving our community. The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
7:54, it's the WSJM Morning Show. This hour we've been talking with Dr. Trevor Kubatzke. He's the president of Lake Michigan College, and Al Pasholka, vice president out there. And we've been talking about the millage. We've been talking about the millage questions that are on the ballot next week. We've been talking about the college itself, what it means in the community, and some of the rationale behind renewing the operational millage for another 20 years and then cutting the capital millage in half before putting that back on the ballot. Anything else, gentlemen, that we need to talk about? I know that we've covered a lot of different issues this morning, but make your pitch, if you would, on Lake Michigan College itself. Not necessarily the millage renewals, but Lake Michigan College.
The college has been, starting next year, the college will have been here 80 years. Been part of this community, providing what the community needs to have vibrant life, healthy life, safe life. And that's what communities are about. And so the college not being here, and then put on top of that all the people who come to the college for different things. We just talked about
cultural events,
fishing, walking the trails. We are there for our community, and we will be there for our community and businesses and industry in the future with these villages. Without these villages, we may not be able to provide all the programs we do. We wouldn't.
Yeah, we started with 61 students in 1946 for World War II veterans to come back and learn machining. And it was Benton Harbor Community College, or Benton Harbor Junior College, and it was Benton Harbor Community College, and it was Whirlpool Foundation Technical Institute and Community College. It's changed names, but since the 1960s has been out on Napier Avenue, and then we operate in South Haven. We still have a presence down in Niles, and we also serve some students in Allegan through their tech center, where they don't have a community college district, and they chose Lake Michigan College to help their students. And we get a lot of them now that come down and complete through early middle college programs. That's another great way that families here save a lot of money through dual enrollment, through early middle college programs. We have students that are getting their high school diploma and getting their associate's degree at the same time. That is saving our families millions of dollars per year. So we've always looked out for that. Since 1946, we've been training the police officers and the welders and the machinists and the people that help make the economy go and grow. And as we look into the future, it's probably going to be more online stuff. We'll be doing more things online. We still have a big online presence. We had a big online presence in the summer. Dr. Kubatzke, as you know, we had almost 1,000 students in the summer, but almost 2/3 of them, 70% of them were online.
Yeah.
That's what they were choosing. So the marketplace is changing. So we have to change with it. We have to provide the training anytime, anywhere, any place. And the college is positioned to do that.
Where can people go for more information about the millage renewal questions?
And we're not out there saying, here's how to vote, but we have an informational piece that is available on our website.
Okay. And that website
is
LakeMichiganCollege.edu.
Yep. Okay. Very good. LakeMichiganCollege.edu for more information on the millage renewal questions. They'll be on the ballot on Tuesday. Unless you've already put in your absentee ballot, then fine. 7:58. It's the gentlemen. Thank you so much. We appreciate you coming in and taking the questions that we asked, and hopefully we'll be getting an update from you soon. Okay,
it's our pleasure.
All right, Dr. Trevor Kubatzke, president of Lake Michigan College, Al Pasholka, vice president of Enrollment, Marketing, and Government Affairs. Again, LakeMichiganCollege.edu if you want more information. Taking a quick look at the weather forecast, and then we'll get you over to ABC News. The weather forecast for today does call for a partly cloudy day, a breezy day as well. Going to get a high somewhere in the upper 50s for Southwest Michigan. Winds are going to be out of the east, though, keeping us a little bit cool on that feels like 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusting to 30 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies and a low of 40. Tonight with east wind continuing to gust around 25 miles per hour. Wednesday's forecast, Partly cloudy, a 20% chance of showers, and a high around 55 degrees. Winds out of the east again, gusting to 30 miles per hour. We've got more coming up next hour. It is your Tuesday morning, so we'll have a good bit of information from our WSJM newsroom. We'll have local news. We'll also have sports. Dave Wolf is back, and he'll give us the latest sports report. By the way, if you're still sleeping because you watched the end of the Dodgers-Blue Jays game, Dodgers won.
18?
Yeah, 18 innings.
I love that. I think that's, I hate that. Put a guy ghost runner at second thing. Give me the old traditional
It's 8 o'clock.
ABC News. I'm Sherry Preston. Hurricane Melissa bringing life-threatening winds